Dear student, this is Shailesh Devidas Janbandhu, Assistant Professor, Department of BCom Computer Application, GS College of Commerce, Wardha. In last lecture, we discussed about the memory. Now, today we discuss about the storage units. The first storage system is random access memory called RAM. RAM is also known as main memory of central storage unit of a computer system. It relatively large fast memory and it is used to store program and data during computer operations. RAM is used to store all active program and data. RAM is a volatile memory, means when the power supply of a computer system is switched off, all the contents of RAM will be destroyed, means it cannot be retrieved again. RAM can transfer data from CPU to from CPU and much faster than any other storage devices. RAM has three types according to their size and their functionality. First one is static RAM. Static RAM store the binary information clock sequential circuit. It made up of flip-flop and it store bit as voltage. Okay. The stored information remain valid only as power is on, and if the power is off, all the information will be destroyed. It is read and write memory. That means we can write and we can read from it. Read from it means whenever the computer system is on, all the current data which is available on RAM can be accessible by the user. Write means when we want to give instruction to the computer system, that time we provide the information by using the keyboard, by mouse or any other peripherals that can be written on the RAM or currently written on the RAM. Means all RAM always work on current information or current data. The static RAM consume more power and it is more expensive. Second one is dynamic RAM. It is also RAM but dynamic, it works on a dynamic. It stored the data or charge on the capacitor tend to the discharge and with the time, and so we periodically recharge by refreshing the dynamic memory, just like our mobile phone. When we use that devices or mobile, the battery of that mobile will be discharged. When it discharge, we should recharge it. Same way, the dynamic RAM also should be recharged. Dynamic RAM are used where large size of memory is required. After dynamic RAM, third type of RAM is IRAM, means integrated RAM. It is same as a dynamic RAM, means just like it store large capacitor tend to discharge with time and so must be periodically recharged. It transist gate and it store the bit as charge. Same way IRAM also be same or provide the same functionality as a dynamic RAM. Next type of memory is read-only memory. The name itself called read-only memory. Just like RAM is a read and write memory, means we can read it from and write on it. But read-only memory says that it only be used for read only or ROM. ROM physically exists in the form of blank electronic chip in which program or data rewritten using special devices. RAM store the instructions. Once instructions are written, it is put inside the computer. It never be rewritten. Therefore, RAM is also called as a firmware, means the computer which is established or developed, or we can say the computers are made, that time the RAM will be attached with our motherboard. Therefore, at the time of creation of a computer, that time the data or the program or instructions can be written on ROM, read only memory. Therefore, it is also called as a firmware. This type of instructions or the ROM is used to hold program instructions that are unlikely to change during the lifetime of the computer. ROM has four types. The number one is PROM, programmable read-only memory. It means we can program this memory only once. By using the special equipment, loading or programming the content of ROM is called as a burning the chip. Once the program is burned on the memory, it never be modified or afterward. Second one is EPROM. It is called erasable programmable read only memory. Erasable means when the data is available on the ROM, it can be erased by using the ultraviolet light gun, through which we can erase the existing one and rewrite the another or reprogram. Means it can be erased and rewrite the read only memory. Just like our CD. When we purchase a CD, that time it doesn't have any material or any instructions, but when we burn it or write into it, it can it can be erased the old one and new reprogram can be available on that particular CD. Same way EPROM also be used. E square ROM, electrically erasable programmable read only memory. It is just like or similar to EPROM, but it can be reprogrammed using special electronic pulses rather than ultraviolet light. So no special equipment is required. Electrically erasable programmable read only memory. Next one is mask ROM. In the ROM, a bit pattern is permanently recorded by the masking and metallizing process. It is an expensive and specialized process. Memory manufacturers are generally equipped to do this process, but it is economical only for huge production. Next one is storage system. Before that, we just discuss about the primary memory, RAM, ROM. Both are the primary memory because these memory are always attached with our computer system. Read-only memory or random access memory, RAM, is a volatile, rather than read-only memory is non-volatile. It's permanent in nature, but it is a firmware. Next topic is storage system. Just like primary storage system is volatile, we can work on it, or the computer system work on current data that can be stored on RAM or primary storage unit. But when we want to store the data permanently and access anywhere, that time we use the secondary storage or non-volatile memory storage system. That means non-volatile means the data does not lose when the power supply is switched off. The secondary memory are less expensive than the primary storage. Secondary memory can store data or information for longer time. Means when and where we want to access that data can be accessible by the user. In storage system, the first system is magnetic storage system. Magnetic storage are direct access medium. It is most popular online secondary storage device. Here online means not internet. Here online means on the web or on execution. When we execute any instructions or command given to the computer system, that time the computer system is work on that particular command or instruction. This process is called as a online system. An online secondary storage device where we can store the current data on which we are working on the application software that can be stored permanently on a physical memory storage. That physical memory storage is called as a secondary storage device. It is direct access, so it also called as random access device, because the information which is stored is randomly accessible by the user. Magnetic disk is a circular plate made up by metal or plastic coated with magnetized material. It is generally used both sides of the disk for storage. Magnetic storage is a non-volatile, just like we discuss about RAM. RAM is a volatile because when the computer system is switched off, the data on RAM will be destroyed. But the magnetic storage devices had the capability to store the data even if the computer system is turned off. It is accessed using one or more read and write heads, which may contain one or more recording transducers. A read-write head only cover the part of surface so that the head or medium or both must be moved relatively to another order to access data. The first type of storage is floppy disk. The floppy disk is made up of mylar plastic coated with magnetic material known as iron oxide. Just like in figure, we see the picture of floppy disk and another things that on the magnetic disk, which is made by the iron oxide. It is enclosed in the square shape, just like in the picture we see the hard plastic jacket. It is called as a plastic jacket. The disk is rotated at the constant speed of 360 rpm. The rotation speed depends or provide the data accession speed to the user. The surface of disk is divided into number of concentric circles known as tracks, and each track can be further divided into number of sectors. Just like in second image, inside the disk, track and sectors are provided. Every track and sectors or every sectors had subdivided into tracks. On tracks, the data will be stored on the disk during the formatting of the disk. Floppy disk can store data on both sides. Today, the floppy disks are not in use, but when it is used in market or in a computer system, that time we have two types of floppy disk, that is 3.5 and 5.5. The 3.5 developed in 1982 and it is double-sided, having 80 tracks and 18 sectors. It can store 1.44 MB data. Same way, 5.25 developed in 1976 and it also a double side having 80 tracks and 15 sectors. It also store the data 1.44 MB. The floppy disk has some advantages, just like number one, floppy disks are cheaper and floppy disk drive are very common. When we talk about computer system, we see the C drive, D drive, E drive, but we cannot have A and B. That A and B drive can be available only for the floppy disk. Today we do not use the floppy disk, therefore the disk drive or floppy disk drive doesn't have any existence on our CPU, central processing unit. But when we use that floppy disk, they are very in common. Easy to carry and store, just like today we carry the mobile phones, pen drives or memory cards. Same way, that time the users may use to carry floppy disk to store the data. Only one disadvantage are there. They are easily physically damaged if unprotected, and magnetic field can be damaged the data. If the magnetic field or the magnetic film which is available in a floppy disk is open by the user, it will damage an unprotected. Means that unprotected field can be damaged by air and by the sun. Second type of storage unit is hard disk. Hard disks are the primary online secondary storage device for most computer systems. Unlike floppy disk, which are made of flexible plastic or mylar, hard disks are made of rigid metal, and the hard disk plotter come in the sizes ranging from 1 to 14-inch diameter. Hard disk is always in the cabinet or available in the cabinet called the CPU. All the data or operating system can be stored on the hard disk permanently. The plotters, the read and write heads can be used to read the data from the disk. Here the disk can be write and read from it. The type of hard disk, number one is zip disk. In this type, a single hard disk platter is encased in a plastic cartridge, just like see in the image. The zip disk same as the floppy disk, but the drive of the floppy disk and zip disk are different. A commonly used zip disk is 3.5 inch in size, having storage capacity of 100 MB. We cannot increase the size of the zip disk. The disk drive is called as a zip drive, and zip drive may be portable or fixed type. Means it can be attached externally to the computer system, or by default internal system can be attached. Second one, disk cap. Disk packs. A disk pack consists of multiple hard disk plotter mounted on a single central shaft. Hence, all the disks of disk pack revolve together at the same speed. As mentioned before, the disk drive of the disk pack has a separate read and write head for each disk surface, excluding the upper surface and the topmost surface and the lower surface of the bottommost disk, because these disks are used, or these surfaces are used to compact all the disks with the central shaft. Therefore, in between top and bottom, all the disks can be read and write. The data can be stored and retrieved from the disk pack. We can increase the size of the disk pack. Just open the disk pack and add another plates or platters into it and pack that disk pack again. Means we can increase the size or storage capacity of the disk pack. Just like in this zip disk, we cannot increase the size, but the disk pack can be increases the capacity of storing. Third one is Winchester Disc. A Winchester Disc also consists of multiple hard disk platters mounted on a single central shaft. Today we use the SSD card, but in 2 or 3 years back we use the Winchester Disc. All the laptops have the SSD card, but all the computers or desktop normally use the Winchester Disc, where all the platters are mounted one on another. The hard disk platter and the disk drive are sealed together in a contamination-free container and cannot be separated each other. Hence, as opposed to disk packs which have virtually unlimited capacity, Winchester Disc have a limited capacity. If we purchase 1 TB hard disk, we cannot increase the size of that 1 TB hard disk or Winchester Disc, but the pack or disk pack can be increase its size. The advantages of disk drive or hard disk. can be used as secondary storage device because the data will be stored permanently into the disk drive. It is very fast access to data. Fast because the data is available on our disk drive and it is a random access memory. Therefore, data can be accessed anywhere randomly. Data can be read directly and any part of disk. Random access devices, due to the random access device, the data which is stored on a computer system or which is stored on a hard disk can be accessible anywhere or any time. The access speed is about 1000 kilobytes per second. Disadvantage of hard disk: hard disks may fall at any time, that would to loss of data. It is not portable because the data is stored on the hard disk and hard disk is always attached with our motherboard or with the cabinet. Therefore, we cannot move that hard disk from one place to another, just like the external hard disk. We have the option external hard disk which can be moved from one place to another one. So we discuss about the storage unit, floppy disk, the tracks and sectors, the hard disk, types of hard disk. So thank you for the day.